thing we've learned along the path is that it's not linear. There are so many pivots we go through, so many transitional periods we go through in our life. And a lot of it comes through our experiences, of course, and what we take precedence in terms of authority and institutions, beliefs, culture, even our thoughts. And the way that we perceive the world, the way that we take it in, can also affect how we operate in the world. And whether you think that you're a human on a spiritual journey or a spiritual being on a human journey, that journey takes us into places that illuminate our path, our purpose, our meaning in life, and what would give us the most fulfillment. No matter what kind of journey you feel you're on, it's important to embrace your power. Embrace your power to create your life, to own your purpose, to determine your own destiny. I remember when I was just 10 years old. 10 years old, in my 50s now, and thinking back, I was only 10 when I was perceiving the world in a way that determines your destiny. Society was determining your destiny. I would see people really take their power and give it away to authorities, to institutions, and lose parts of themselves or lose themselves completely. Only that's an illusion because we can maybe lose ourself, our ego self, but we never lose our core essence, who we truly are. And I had set out to determine a way forward that illuminates our path back to ourselves, that healing journey of self discovery and healing our relationship with ourselves. You know, over 3 decades, it took me to healing, observing, learning, becoming an adult before I published Embrace Your Power. It's a journaling style book that allows you to heal your sense of self, to discover more about yourself. Especially as an entrepreneur, we engage in ways that make people know us and like us and trust us. But how often do we turn that mirror on us? How well do we know ourselves? How much do we trust ourselves? Do you even like yourself? These are all things that the book brings up for you. But what it brings up for me is how we bring back our power, how we reclaim our power. And I'm Jennifer Regular, the host of Awaken and Ascend. I welcome you to tune in today as we explore that and explore what you discovered as a child, how you were observing the world. It's usually around that age that we have our true purpose seated within us. What we're going to explore further as we journey through life and our expression of what that looks like, how our careers take shape, our families, our relationships can have various forms, various ways of being expressed. And yet, that core essence, the energy behind it all, is usually established around that age. I hear a lot of conscious leaders and entrepreneurs who are spiritually aware recognizing that what they're doing now they had conceived of when they were around 10 to 12 years old. And I'm curious if that's true for you too. Was there something around the age of 10 to 12 that you were engaging in? What you thought about, what kind of insights and guidance you were being given? I'm really curious about that, and I would love for you to share that in the chat because it's very interesting that our creativity, our heightened awareness, and our personalities are formed in that space. And yet, our spirituality is still very much intact. Our divine connection is very much still intact around that age. So, our personality has now been formed between the ages of 10 and 12, and we're still spiritually connected. So, that is a beautiful time to be entering into the journey our life is going to take. And all along the way, when we experience more transitions and pivots and learning curves as we go through life, there's always an opportunity to choose differently, to have different parts of ourselves discovered and expressed. You're never the same person, right? It's like you never step into the same river twice. It's continuously flowing. Our life is continuously flowing. Our breath, hopefully, is continuously flowing, except when we hold it back and we hold on tight and we contract and we no longer expand and we get so overly focused on what we can do better to prove ourselves, to achieve, to perform. And what we may not recognize is that when we're in that state, we're not allowing that divine connection. We're not being conscious of our movements through life. We're not being so intentional other than trying to achieve something, reach some sort of goal, to be externally validated, to prove ourselves worthy in some way. And when we're performing, believe it or not, we're actually conforming to society's standards, someone else's standards, someone else's authority. And that's where we give our power away. That's why it feels like it's a constant struggle to try to keep up. And we're crazy busy all this time. And we take on that badge and we have to win and do better and be the best. And I mean, even just thinking that, we see how we tighten up and we, you know, pull up our bootstraps and all that sort of jazz, right? When really, when we come down to it, nothing can take away from our core essence. So, what can we do to keep our spirit intact, to have that divine connection, to recognize our impermanence, that nothing lasts forever, that it's continuously and constantly changing, and to practice patience with our path, with our goals, with how our dreams are unfolding, how our life is unfolding, and to be able to manage our energy in the best possible way. So we come from the highest expression of who we are and not from the best version of ourselves. The best subscribes to that societal standard of having to be the best, to prove yourself worthy, to perform. We don't want to be the best. We want to be ourselves authentically, genuinely, and in integrity, living our values. We want to let go of anything that's not of us, that doesn't belong to us, and call back our power to step fully into the light that we came here to shine. So when we shine brighter, then people see you, they hear you, they feel you, and they want to be in your presence. They want to be around you and be inspired by you. And so this is a little bit about self leadership, taking in your power, not to become an authority on anything or, to tell anybody else what they need to do on their path or to copy out some methods that you found useful for yourself, but rather to bring out what's in their highest contribution to share, what's in their highest self, helping them to get to know themselves so much better and to know themselves, to love themselves, and to trust themselves and in their ability to create other leaders who are not only leading at the office, but leading their lives in the best possible way, to be able to be inspiring and a role model for how you want the world to function, right? To be able to have it start from within, that inner wealth, to be resourced enough, to be resourceful for others. So I'm really curious about your comments and what you're gathering from this. What's been your aha moment? What kind of questions you might have? I'd love to get the conversation going in the comments. Let me know what your dreams were when you're 10, 12 years old and how that came about for you. I know for me, when I was thinking about how society determines your destiny. That's not the message that I really wanted to share. What I wanted to share was about embracing your power and really healing that relationship with ourselves, about reconnecting with yourself, nurturing your soul, meeting the need for fulfillment and meaningful engagement. And that set the path for us. This was 11 years ago now that I wrote this book. And the latest one, The Ultimate Guide to Leaving Your Legacy, talks more about leading with passion. And here's what I take from the word passion. It's more than just doing what you love. It's more than an energy. It's actually your calling. Because when you break up that word, it's pass I on. And that I is your soul's expression of what you're here to pass on in this lifetime. Your soul's expression. So discover what that is, not just your self expression, but your soul's expression. What do you think that might be? I'd love to hear from you. And this is what lights the path to profound impact and collective transformation, is passing that I on, your potency, your superpower. And it's really your energy, your spirit that gets long remembered after you leave this earth. This is how you become a living legacy. So until next time, awaken and ascend. I'm Jennifer Regular. You can also check me out on my website, lightingthepath.ca, where you have lots of free resources and gifts there, like creative transformation or the intentional living for the awakened leader audio bundle just came out as well, and some guides for compassion fatigue and soul care, because let's face it, sometimes we get a little down and we need to recover ourselves to be ourselves. So you'll find all those resources there, and the latest Leadership Ascension Alliance, that is a beautiful space to connect with other change makers and others who are shifting from that career mode into their calling and looking for a deeper, more authentic connection. So all of that on my website. Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye now.